pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We just had an executive session downstairs in my office having to do with a police detective promotion and some ambulance negotiations. Just for the information of everyone here, that we had this. Welcome to our village representative, Alina, and to our newly elected councilman. Welcome. I need a motion to open a public hearing on taxation of hotel room occupancy.
Motion?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Justin, you want to introduce
Sure.
the local law, please?
Might be easiest if I bore everyone with reading for a little bit of the public hearing notice. Assuming I brought it. So there's several communities in Orange County, including the county itself, that has a hotel room occupancy tax. Consistently, the state has been approving more and more municipalities to impose this tax. It does require special legislation of the New York State legislature, which was passed this year. So in essence, there's been introduced before the town board introductory local law number 2 of the year 2025, entitled A Local Law Adding Article 6 entitled Taxation of Hotel Room Occupancy to Chapter 179 entitled Taxation of the Code of the Town of Highlands. The purpose and effect of which is to impose a tax of 5% upon the rent for every occupancy of a room or rooms in a hotel or motel in the Town of Highlands, except for occupancies by certain governments, public corporations, not-for-profit entities, when required documentation of exemption is presented, or permanent residents. Thus, the local law adds definitions for the term effective date, hosting company, hotel or motel, occupancy, occupant, operator, permanent resident, person, rent, return, room, supervisor, and tourist facility. Operators and hosting companies will be required to register with the town supervisor and will be issued certificates of authority to collect the tax from occupants at the time when the occupancy is arranged or contracted for and charged for. The tax will be administered by the town supervisor or his designee, and the supervisor shall have the authority to issue certain regulations, and it is granted certain specified powers in that regard. The local law authorizes voluntary collection agreements between the town and hosting companies for booking transactions completed through the hosting company, and hosts and operators shall not be liable for the tax for such transactions, the hosting company being solely liable. The local law imposes record-keeping requirements and requires the filing of quarterly returns for specified 3-month periods to be accompanied by the tax payment. Determinations of the amount of tax owed shall be reviewable in proceedings instituted under Article 78 of the Civil Practice Laws and Rules, subject to certain specified deposit requirements. The local law establishes refund procedures. It provides that the tax revenues are to be deposited in the town's general fund to be used for any lawful purpose. The local law additionally provides for penalties and interest for failure to file or pay or filing of false returns, and for the confidentiality of returns and for enforcement proceedings. Supervisor will be required to file quarterly reports on tax registrations, filings, and payments with the town board. So that is sort of a half-a-page summary of the nearly 14-page local law, and again, it predominantly adds a chapter to your existing taxation code for this specific purpose. Some of these words, they are defined, but, right, a tourist facility is what many of us would think of as an Airbnb, right? Where these other non-hotel or motels that are renting out rooms and that do so in some coordinated fashion. That can be similar to what a hosting company is, right? And, right, so if we're aggregating and using these facilities on the web, there could be contracts with those companies as opposed to the underlying property owner. But in essence, the law is trying to capture the rental of rooms and imposing a 5% tax on the renting of those rooms throughout the town of Highlands.
Thank you.
That's the summary.
Much better than I could have done. Thank you, Justin. Public comment on the occupancy law. Please let us know your name and where you're living.
Annie Scott, Fort Montgomery. Is there a way for the town board to perhaps take the money that you do, instead of putting it in a general fund, would you consider putting it into something for tourism, for marketing our community, things of that nature? Airbnb has taken 5% out of our proceeds for the last 2 years. Have you received a penny of that money?
I think that's their charge.
Right. So if we use Airbnb, then we're not required to file quarterly reports with the town, or?
No. Well, so either there is an arrangement with Airbnb or some similar hosting company.
Right.
And then they are responsible, right? So in theory, your renter rents your space and pays Airbnb, and then Airbnb all of the necessary taxes, whether that's also the county, whether that's also the state, Airbnb's fees and the towns would all run through that and come through. But if you don't have that arrangement and you are simply doing this on your own,
right.
I'm just looking at you, Annie.
That's fine.
Being descriptive of what you're doing, right, then the individual has to do so, right? The individual property owner.
Okay. And, who's going to be responsible to enforce it? Like the landlord registration, there's no teeth to any of that. Who is responsible? Will you come check Airbnb out online, or you're just going to take it as people letting you know that they are renting their homes, or, you know what I mean?
I would say we'll cross that bridge when it comes.
Yeah.
Who's going to enforce it? To a certain point, I'm sure and you'd probably hate to hear this, but our building inspector would be enforcing their registration. As far as collecting the money goes, that was like any other tax that would be in the county, that we'd be responsible for enforcing it, and if it's not being paid, it would be put on to the
Sure, there's various mechanisms, right? And it is, you're pointing out that there is some management to the processes to put them in place and to find the people, right? We're not the first community doing this, right? So the county has listings, right? Because they've been collecting the tax since 2009, right? And there is the ability to hunt out some of these companies online, and obviously even just see advertisements, right? If Justin Ryder is looking to stay in Highland Falls for the weekend, right? But there will be some diligence, but like any large-scale law, some of the enforcement does take some time to put the proper protocols in place.
So has the presentation come back different than 2009? Because in 2009, when they tried to push the 5%, that money went into the general fund in the county, not to the town or the village.
So, right, so this is different.
2009, I think that was a proposal. I don't think it was ever signed by the governor.
No, they didn't sign
No.
it, but what I'm saying is the proposal the same, or did it change? Because that proposal, again, had it, the financing went to the county, not
No, this is...
each individual community.
So sure, this is the individual community. I did bring somewhere here, right? This is New York State Tax Law, Section 1202, sub III, which suggests there's a lot of these subs well before that. And it's hotel or motel taxes in the town of Highlands, period. Right? So it has nothing to do with the county, has nothing to do with other municipalities in Orange County. This 5% is imposed by the town of Highlands, collected by the town of Highlands, and for the benefit of the town of Highlands.
All right, so if the county decides that they want us to do 5%, you won't add an additional 5%, correct?
The county already has a 5% tax.
Right, I know, but I'm saying if they push it down through, because everything has a trickle-down effect, if they push it down, would that mean that the money would stay here for sure, or not?
This money never goes to the county. This money comes straight into, well, through the supervisor, or his designee, ultimately to the controller's office.
Okay. Okay. Oh, thanks.
Anyone else? Anyone?
Bob,
Yes, sir.
so this is an important topic, and while there's dialogue going on, I don't know if you intended to close the public hearing or not. Can I ask some questions while we're just ready, if nobody has any other questions?
Oh, absolutely.
people
yeah.
to hear the answers to the questions
Well, the
that
whole
have been
board
asked.
can speak
Yeah.
on this too, yes.
Okay. Can I go ahead and do that? Nobody else
do.
wants to chat at the moment?
Do you want to do that during the public hearing or after the public hearing?
If we're going to close the public hearing, I want people to have an opportunity to hear the answers are going to be to my questions, and maybe they want to comment on it later on, I don't know.
Okay, certainly.
So this is, I actually put the notification that June put in the paper on Facebook so that people would know about it. I'm kind of disappointed there aren't more people here than that, so I'm sure they'll be here after the tax gets implemented, but... So whatever direction you want to go, can I ask you a few questions?
Is there any
You wanna
reason
close
why
the public
you can't
hearing?
do this,
Whatever
or-
you recommend.
No, the more typical process would be to close the public hearing, but if the councilman wants the ability to have further discussion and that might elicit a question, that's fine.
In a rare moment, we're going to have dialogue exchange for just a moment, okay? If it's out of hand, then we'll do something
We
different.
just had it
All
with
right,
Danny.
so, first question is, did the Village of Highland Falls act on this law yet? They did not, did they?
Yes, they did.
Did they pass?
To my knowledge, they have not passed.
Oh, they have the next month.
So let's keep it factual. So you did not act on it yet. It's not law yet. That leads me to my second question. If the town passes this law and you have hotels, bed and breakfast, or whatever else located in the Village of Highland Falls, will we be able to receive money from that? And if the Village of Highland Falls passes it, will they be able to receive money in addition to that money?
I think the answer to that is yes, on both ends.
Correct, right?
In
So
other words, it'd be a 10% tax half going to the town, half going to the village.
On hotels within the village.
Yeah.
But we can receive revenues if it's in the village of Highland Falls, if it's in the town of Highlands, which I believe
Right.
the Hotel Thayer is in the town of Highlands. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So that's that question. What's a projected income per year from this? Did I hear you say like possibly 300,000 or?
The county did an estimate, I did not do the estimate, the county did an estimated 400,000.
So, just to clarify on that, right? We don't know exactly how they derived that figure or what they looked at. So for your budgeting purposes and the process you just went through, you were much more conservative in your estimate of income.
Just a few more questions. So I heard the word enforcement, and I'm going to talk about building inspectors in just a little while in my report, okay? And it's something important I'm going to say. I thought I read through this where a third-party hosting company can be used in order to help enforce it. I'm going to tell you that that would probably be something I'd want to check out and know what the cost would be associated with that.
So sure, it's not that the hosting company technically does the enforcement. It's that the hosting companies are used to the processes whereby they collect tax and remit it to various municipalities, and as opposed to Justin Ryder renting his home just by himself, right, where he's probably never done that before. So these large-scale companies have incorporated into that models. So when I go rent from them, I'm already paying. I'm just paying one fee to the hosting company, and then the hosting company is responsible to distribute those taxes where they need to go. And the law does provide for agreements directly between hosting companies and the municipality.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. This portion of the meeting is going to be recorded. I'm going to take that clip, and it's going to go onto my Facebook page to counter all the stuff that's going to be said contrary to all the answers you just heard. So now, if you'd like to close the public hearing, I'm prepared to do so.
Well,
Unless anyone else has
does
questions.
anybody in the board would like to speak as part of the public hearing? No? Okay. I'll ask for a motion to...
Well, I would just see if the conversation elicited any further public comment.
Anything else?
So if the village approves the 5%, anyone in the town of Highlands, which includes West Point, Island Falls, Fort Montgomery, and Bear Mountain, you're not going to include Bear Mountain? However, you're going to then charge 10%?
We aren't. That'll be the total tax.
The village can
5%
only
us and
charge in the
5% the village.
And the town can only charge in the town.
Which is
Correct.
everything.
So then why do we, then we shouldn't care about what the village does, I guess. What I'm saying is if you're saying the town of Highlands and collecting taxes from like the Thayer Hotel, does that not include all the Airbnbs in the village already? And if the village approves or signs on for their 5% and the town has the 5% already, then it's 10% across the board?
Yes,
For people to come and stay here,
yes.
you're going to charge them an additional 10%.
No,
The town is charging 5%.
5%.
We don't know
And
what
the
the
village
village is going to
5%.
do yet. I'm just bringing some facts out. The town is charging 5% for things in the town. The Bear Mountain Inn is not in the town of Highlands. That's not one of them.
Okay, but the Thayer is
There is.
in the town of Highlands.
Overlook Lodge is too.
Pardon me?
Overlook Lodge.
Yeah, I was going to say, Overlook is, the inn might not be, but Overlook is.
Yeah.
So,
In fairness, I think,
So,
they should know that too, right?
well, I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know the ownership of the Overlook Lodge, but I suspect it is government-related, and so government entities are not subject to the tax. They are exempt from the tax. That was one of the exemptions. But I don't know the particular ownership, so I'm just saying, but if it happens to be.
There's a lot to be found out in this. What'd you say?
There's a concessionaire that runs that. It's called Guest Services.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, anybody else come up with a question? All right, ask for a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I guess we got a roll call on that, but, no, don't need a roll call? Okay. Okay, I like roll calls. You want me to do a roll call? No. Okay, Nancy might explain the recognition ceremony that we're not going to do this month.
Right, so hopefully that we had on the schedule to recognize a local family for military family recognition, but they had a little schedule glitch today. So hopefully we'll be able to put that off until December 8th, if that's okay. Right, and then we'll take care of it then. So, sorry about that.
I'm going to go off of the agenda just slightly out of respect for our highway superintendent, who is here for one purpose. Greg, if you would stand up and tell us about your new hire for mechanic.
Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Marr, Highway Superintendent for the town of Highlands. We recently interviewed for the position of Highway Department Heavy Equipment and Truck Mechanic, and we found a good candidate, Chris name? And,
Chris Keller.
Chris Keller is his name. So we interviewed him. He's been several times. We met with him several times. He's got, 25 years of truck driving experience. He has a few years as a diesel mechanic. He has his own tools. He looks like a very good candidate to possibly to try out for that position, which has been vacant since Rick Jersey was promoted to foreman about a year and a half ago or so. So everybody's been trying to fill in and fill the role, a little bit at a time. So hopefully it can go through and we can give him a try.
Want to act on it now?
Oh, yes.
Tell me his name again.
Chris Keller.
It's Chris Keller.
Okay, I keep forgetting that. So, just want to say with Greg up at the highway garage, been busy. We had a mechanic who stayed there for about a month and a half. He left, he's had no mechanic. They've been covering for it. The guys get along well, they work hard, they cover a lot of stuff. They get, someone doesn't come in, they have sanitation and whatnot. And in my report, you're gonna hear they've done a lot of work recently, especially last week. So I make a motion that we hire Chris Keller.
Second. On the motion, we'll be hiring Chris Keller at the starting pay of a mechanic according to the union contract, and he would have, or be subject to a 1-year probation.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. You can go home if you want. I mean, you can stay if you want. Huh?
Okay.
All right, okay. I have the minutes of the November 3rd meeting. What's your pleasure?
Motion?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you.
November 10th or November 3rd?
I have the minutes of November 10th meeting, and I'd like to ask for a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you. I transferred $84,934 from the consolidated account to the paying account to cover this week's check run. Bigger items are Lankin Tully survey and meeting for Wyant Road for FEMA repairs, $53,189. Rockland County solid waste, $16,301. Sprague for diesel fuel, $2,782. Schultz Ford supplies for the police in October 2005. That's dollars, 2005. American Tower Corporation, Putnam Tower rent, which unfortunately we're still paying, $1,925. I have budget transfers, which I will read, from the bond anticipation note principal to general liability insurance, $3,500 over budget due to large increase in premium. Band principal to intern personal services, $340 for town's portion of the NYSERDA grant for interns. Dog control fuel, dog control other expenses, over budget due to dog boarding expenses. Building department equipment to building department postage, $500. Postage was higher than budgeted. Band principal to Garrison Pond, $427 over budget due to additional permitting expense. And ambulance insurance to ambulance supplies, $1,200. The ambulance supplies were higher than budgeted. Does the town board have any questions?
No.
Okay. Liaison reports.
Excuse me, we need a motion to accept the budget transfers.
Okay, thank you, yeah.
I'll
Do I have a
make that
motion to accept? Huh?
to accept them as read.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you. Thank you, June. All right, board liaison reports. We'll start out with Councilwoman Sporter.
Thank you. Very short report tonight. I went to the Thanksgiving dinner last Wednesday at the Grace Baptist Church for seniors. I thought I was just invited as a board member, but now I realize that I also qualify as a senior citizen, which grieved me a little bit, but still, it didn't stop me from eating a very delicious lunch at Grace Baptist Church. And they had a very nice program, and it was lovely. There were a whole bunch of the seniors that were there. They've done this for years, and this was my first time attending there. It was lovely. The next opportunity for takeout meals, so the Senior Advisory Council and Church of Holy Innocents is sponsoring senior residents Thanksgiving dinner this Wednesday. These are meals for pickup. And this is Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And if you have not RSVP'd so far, you can RSVP to the center. Their email address is thecenter@Highland Falls, all one word, at AOL.com. Their telephone number for the center is 845-521-4285. So you can always call. I would imagine that they'll be able to accommodate you. But that's this Wednesday from 3 to 5 so that you'll have a Thanksgiving meal to eat on Thursday. No zoning board meeting for November, but the planning board did meet last Thursday night, and they discussed a number of issues. There was no public hearing. They granted an extension to Rick Manicosi, who has several parcels on Main Street for submitting for the current exceptions that he has to zoning to carry those through. These started in 2020. Due to a whole bunch of reasons, he hasn't been able to get construction started yet, so he has an extension for his current exceptions through, I think, the end of March of 2026. This was specific to, next to Shades there, where the Christiana Hotel and Penn Fed, specifically to that. But he also has, it's going to be the Altar Bar, which is the former Methodist Church, which if you're looking at Sacred Heart, it's to the left. So those are the two that are hot right now that they were talking about for those two. So they had a contractor for new business come about Prospect Street. They're turning a one-family into a two-family house on the corner. It's actually, it faces Sweezy, but it has a Prospect address. So he was there for that. That's moving through. And then Grace Baptist Church came because to talk about trying to develop a piece of property for some additional parking. So that was it. That's what I have. Thank you.
That's what you have.
That's what I have.
I'd like to thank Councilman DeWitt for being here tonight. A week ago, he was in the hospital, and right now he's recuperating from his ordeal in the hospital. So thank you very much for being here tonight, Joe. You could have very easily said, I'm not going to make it.
Tempting, but thank you. Thank you, Bob, very much. It was nice of you to say. And with that, I don't have a whole lot to report on, obviously. Is it a board? There was an email out about using dial-a-bus. Is that something that can be discussed with the highway department? Is that something we got to discuss or vote on here? Using dial-a-bus for the holiday village party, is that something we're...
I called Tiffany about it, and she is investigating whether she has a driver or not.
That's about, it comes out of personnel. Okay, thank you. That's the only thing I saw coming through. That's things I overlook. Aaron operating on autopilot as he often does. I know everything's, he's got his programs going good. And again, thank you for mentioning my illness. I've been between, I'm getting rebuilt for for next year, for the start of my next phase of retirement. But thank you for a lot of friends in town who, reached out and brought me food and just been keeping a good eye on me while this is going to be about six more weeks of recovery, unfortunately. Good all that abdominal work, hernias, all that gross stuff. But I'm doing okay. It's just going to take a little time. But thank you very much.
I tried to stay away within the HIPAA law, but you just threw it all out there, so we're okay.
You can.
Yeah, I wore all out myself. I don't care. Just trying to actually, Andy, the night of the birthday, and thank you again for taking me out that night. That was my last cocktail. And that was 2 nights before the surgery, and I was like, probably that wasn't even a good idea, but it tasted really damn good. Thank you very much. All right, I yield my rest of my time to
Councilman King.
I definitely need it.
Well, I don't, believe it or not, have anything, but I do just have a message of happy Thanksgiving to the community.
Absolutely.
And I leave you with 3 words. The words are kindness, unity, and service. And so as we get ready to celebrate, just remember there'll probably be some others who are not so fortunate. And so before we throw anything away that may be useful, maybe we can pack it up and distribute it somehow. I was out Saturday at a church helping with a Christmas or Thanksgiving food operation, and just amazing the number of people that was out there that need some help. So I just want to say happy holidays to all.
Thank you. Councilman Sullivan.
Thank you. I was going to start with building. I'll say that for last. So with sewer, the Oakwood Pump Station has a new 16.5 horsepower pump. I spoke with the engineer about the head curves for the 3 pump stations we have. Somehow, over the 35 years they've been in service, the piping is the same size, the elevation is the same size, the same difference, and we've gotten in bigger horsepowers, which I don't think match the head curve. So I'm hoping next year that they can engineer it to tell us what pumps we should be putting in as these things go bad, rather than a 16.5 horsepower pump, which was originally a 7.5 horsepower pump 35 years ago. We need to get back to where they belong, because you have jet engines on a Cessna is what's happening, and they're burning out prematurely. We're not getting the life we should out of them. So that's a project John Russo said, he gave me contact of somebody, I can get this done for free, to get a projection of what they should be. So as they go bad, we put in what should be there, not what goes in to replace what's there right now. Last week, it went along 9W. I want to thank Greg. I was going to do that in the DPW later on. He gave me Matty Beal, and we had TAM come in. They were here for 3 days along 9W. Thank the chief for giving us a police car to protect them from getting run over by people who are all in a rush. So we TV camered about 30 manholes and 30 runs. The report is forthcoming. There's still more to do next year over and along the Hudson, but that will keep the EPA from finding us once we get the report together and give it to them. And I don't know if you saw it, I copied Murray Lantner from the EPA immediately with pictures of what we were doing. So I think we have a little breathing room there. And I'm disappointed that 35 years ago, the EPA gave us, I think it was 80% of the money to build the sewer plant. Now they fine you for not doing things. You know, it'd be nice if we got a hit once in a while, because have we grown? It's mostly residential. Every residential property, for every buck you put into it, costs you $1.25 to have it. It would be nice to have some governmental help to do some of these things, like TV cameras and stuff like that. But it's done. They jetted some areas that were clogged, and I'll have a report probably in January on that whole thing. The DMR for October, we averaged 75,000 gallons per day. That's 62% capacity. We had 5.1 inches of rain. Just want to say, I don't discuss all the things in the DMR. There's not just flow and temperature and pH, settleable solids, all those other things. In the village of Cold Spring, I read the Putnam paper pretty frequently. Last week, when we went down back in 2018 to White Plains for a technical meeting, they threatened to fine us $37,500 a day for not complying, which we did with that dechlorination building, which is 8 by 8, and it cost $300,000. Assemblyman Scoopus at that time got us 125 grand for that. Cold Spring was just fine for a couple of days at the rate of $37,500 per day. It doesn't take much to make that happen. So with the part-time guys that we have, and Greg helping out with the DPW, I am very pleased at how the plant smells good down there. I mean, you know, sewer plant's smelling good. You can have parties down there, and people aren't calling me saying the sewer plant's ruining the party when they have the dancing under the stars, whatever else they do. People congregate at Mine Dock Park a lot because that plant is being run well. Greg's guys take the sludge away. That's a whole nother debacle. Getting rid of sludge is not easy to do. So I want to compliment everybody involved. With the DPW, I want to say, just like along with Matty Beal being with us last week for the sewer inspection, Bridge Terrace, 34 Bridge Terrace has a driveway. For 35 years, we've been going to it to work on the pump station with O&R trucks, TAM, et cetera, and so on. So at a good price, and before the end of the year, that driveway is now repaved. The leaves are being picked up until it snows, Greg? Okay? And with the garbage, am I correct, tomorrow is the north and south end of Highland Falls? No.
South end of Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery tomorrow.
Okay, north end of Highland Falls?
South end of Highland.
South end of Highland Falls and Fort Montgomery tomorrow. When I go home, I'm gonna put my can out.
Tomorrow's Tuesday, I'm sorry. That's Wednesday.
Okay, Wednesday.
So tomorrow's north end, I'm sorry.
Mountain Avenue North tomorrow.
Right.
Mountain Avenue all the way south to the Bear Mountain Circle Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah.
Got that? No recyclables Friday. Okay. All right, I think we got that right. With water, we had some leaks. We averaged 82,962 gallons per day for the month of October. And now the average daily flow, since we repaired a couple of leaks, is 74,000 gallons per day. We're back to where we should be. The Department of Health wants a report from us that I haven't had a chance to get with Dale yet and send. Forget this week, I'll do that with him next week. And, you know, so like, I'm not here to compete or bash or anything else with the Village of Highland Falls. I'm here to help you all. And I see some reports on Facebook of people showing brown water. I hope they're not phony. I think that's mostly a north end problem up there. We're 3 miles south. I have never had discolored water. Bob, have you? In my water supply, I've never had discolored water.
I haven't either, no.
We're 3 miles south, like I said. So thankfully, I've never had that issue. And I mean, that's a village issue. I'm not going to comment on it. There's things you can do like reline water pipe, probably falls into a capital project, but I have seen a lot of people posting about that. And it cannot come from Fort Montgomery, because we have a check valve in at the Grace Baptist Church. It cannot flow backwards, okay? And we now have two tanks, a 58,000 gallon tank and a 195,000 gallon tank. And I want to talk just a little bit about that, because you hear us talking about water debt funds and stuff like that. So an engineer about 3 years ago, 4 years ago with the ARPA money, sat down and told us that about 540 grand would pay for that tank, all right? That tank ended up costing $1.2 million. We had to build it. That left us about $300,000 in the red on that project, and the water districts already had a negative fund balance from something that happened 20 years ago that I don't need to revisit. So we're gaining on it. The tank is there. The meters in Fort Montgomery are cellular. While I'm not a big fan of the trouble you have to go through when you change technology, 5G and all this stuff, I think we have equilibrium, and I know the village of Highland Falls is going to that. You couldn't do that before you had cellular service. Now that you do, you can get away from the radio reads. So I can sit right here and tell you that if I let my toilet run for 10 minutes, it's going to use 45 gallons. I'm going to talk about that a little later on, something else. So anyway, just wanted to say that I'm very pleased with the water system. Highland Falls has a great system. Whatever the discolored water is has nothing to do with Fort Montgomery not having a tank or backflowing. The Citizens Environmental Advisory Committee had a meeting via Zoom with Daniel DeFalco, did I say that right, Olga? Of All Aboard Hudson Valley on the subject of pursuing the governor's office to have a feasibility study for the purpose of passenger train travel along the West Shore Railroad of the Hudson River. So it so happens I couldn't Zoom because I was on a passenger train during that meeting and I couldn't get in long enough to really see the presentation. Olga sent it to me and I just wanted to make mention of that. That group or that gentleman has also met with the town board of the town of Cornwall. So that's a topic that they're looking to be able to send to the governor's office for a feasibility study, I think is what their goal is at the moment. Is that correct, Olga?
That is correct, and it's my goal to get him to come to talk to you all.
Okay. Well, I won't kick him out if he comes. All right. I think a little bit later in the meeting, we're going to discuss something at 24 Kaplan Way with water. Perhaps even Highland Greens. I know there's some questions about Highland Greens. On to history. So I'm going to read off a notice from the Battle Site in Historical Society. The Battle Site, which I'm the president of, has a holiday party every year. If you want to come, the seats are limited. It's Wednesday, December 17th at 4 p.m. The tickets for members are $12. The tickets for non-members are $14. And I actually put this on my Facebook page if anybody looks there. And Ronnie sent an email out with this thing about having for next year, the 250th year of the country, for 250 cents, $2.50 if you want to call it that, becoming a member of the Historical Society. I have this form that I've also put on my Facebook page for membership. I'm going to have some copies printed out and have them here. And so, you know, more family, I think is $15 a year. The sponsor is $25 a year. A benefactor is $250 a year. It's a great organization. She has a lot of members. These local historic societies are on fire with Woodbury. Alex Przinches over there on December, I think the 7th, has their annual train display. They had a demonstration or a presentation on Mount Beacon, which I hike almost 3 or 4 times a week, the history of that. And Ronnie does a lot of good presentations at the sit-in chats. So, and then I'm going to go back to what I skipped before was the building department. You got to bear with me. People want answers, I'm giving them to them. So, last week, Bob, Philip, and I interviewed 2 candidates off of the full-time Orange County Civil Service Code Enforcement list, okay? We canvassed the list. 7 people were on that list. Not 100, not 25, 7, okay? Of the 7, 3 of them were not interested, had better jobs or whatever. 4 of them were left to interview. We entered 2 of you, 2 last week. We haven't made a decision yet, so I'm not going to talk about what I may not have thought about them. Another one rescheduled, and Diva, did he call today or not?
No.
He's toast, okay? So what I'm leading up to is we have exhausted the list. I keep people here and saying about the building department may be deficient or whatever. I'm a code enforcement officer. If you'd like me to resign and pay me 40 grand a year, I'll help Philip tomorrow, okay? So I can't do it because I have this seat. So what we're doing, and I sent June an email tonight, and she's been kind enough in the past to put the ad on Indeed for a part-time code enforcement officer up to 20 hours a week, which is non-competitive. The county will let you do it that way. Last time we did it, we got 2 people. Both of them worked for us. One of them moved on for a reason I'm not going to discuss. The other one was given a dispensation by the county to work full-time because they don't have anybody to fill the list. And these private firms, Al Fusco, Lankin Tully, they're all looking for building inspectors or code enforcement officers. We used to use their people. They don't have them anymore. So there is a desperate shortage of building inspectors. And that's why Philip doesn't have a partner right now. We're sure as heck working on it. And, so once we get the list back from the Indeed, last time we did it, 46 people responded. I had beauticians, I had a funeral director respond. Only 2 of them had the proper code enforcement credentials from the state of New York. We're going to do it again and see what we come up with. So that's the best answer I can give anybody, not being facetious. If the village of Highland Falls can do better, boy, I'd enjoy the help. I really would. If you can find somebody, I'd enjoy the help. I think that's it.
Thank you, thank you. Chief, do you have anything for us? I don't, sir. Yes, you do. The promotion of an employee to a higher position by the chief of police is contingent upon the town board approval and will be subject to the requirements of the civil service law. Chief, I understand you would like to promote one of your officers.
Yes, Brian Newberry. He's been with the police department for about 3 years now. He'd make a great addition as a detective. He was a detective as an NYPD employee where he did 20 years of service.
Okay. Do I have a motion to hire Brian Newberry as a detective for the Town of Highlands Police Department? And he'd be 1 year of probation and subject to a union negotiation as to what his salary will be.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So carried, thank you. Did I include everything good enough there, Justin?
Oh, yeah,
As far
that's
as the
fine.
pay goes?
Yep. I'll work with the chief on.
And that'll be effective January 1st, or I guess whenever the MOA is ratified? Is that something that has to go before the board?
No, the MOA can be signed off on based on this motion.
Okay.
So once we have it.
Okay.
So effective the later of those 2 days.
Okay, good. Get him in as soon as possible anyway. Okay, we just had a public hearing on our taxation of hotel room occupancy. I have a resolution to adopt the local law, adding Article 6, entitled Taxation of Hotel Room Occupancy, to Chapter 179, entitled Taxation of the Code of the Town of Highlands.
Motion?
Second.
I have a second?
Second.
Roll call,
Councilor
please.
Sullivan? Councilmember Sullivan?
Yeah, I heard you.
Oh,
Boy, I tell you, I wish I had another meeting to think about this one, I gotta be honest with you. So, I'm gonna abstain for that reason.
Councilmember King?
Aye.
Councilmember DeWitt?
Aye.
Councilmember Scorber?
Aye.
And Supervisor Lindsay?
All right. We are putting in for extensions. Kelly, maybe you can help me out with this here. The extensions for a number of FEMA projects that have not been completed within the time limits set by FEMA, which would be January 22nd. So we were putting in for extensions for the various projects so that FEMA will let us work beyond that date and still pay us. Once we get the projects completed and paid for, they'll reimburse us at 75%.
Correct.
And the
12.5% for the state.
And the state 12.5%. Anything else I missed on that?
The extensions would go through November 30th of 2026. There's quite a bit required to file the extensions, so we've reached out to Lankin Tully to assist in writing up the extensions.
Yeah, and as I said in the last meeting, the town board is fully aware of things that have not been done since the storm over 2.5 years ago. But it's due to the circumstances of the engineering and FEMA, we just haven't been able to get them done. And so now we're running into the winter, which although I don't know how they did it, and God bless them because they were lucky to get it done. The road they paved, Mearns and Highland Falls, they paved that just this week, right across the front of your house, right? Okay.
A little back, but yeah.
Yeah.
It looks pretty good.
So I'm glad they got that done. That was a good thing to get that in before the winter. Water charges at Kaplan Way.
Did everybody get the email? I sent that about a week ago for 24 Kaplan Way. I'll give a little bit of an overview the best I can. So back in June 24th, 25th, and 26th was an abnormal reading at that particular location. There's no swimming pool. The abnormal reading being 11,000 gallons for one day. So there's no swimming pool. The water guy went down, Dale, and even I think had a consultant from Schmidt Wholesale come with them and looked at it. There were no leaks. They surmised that the meter was reading appropriately, okay, as best they could tell with a visual inspection. So the normal bill for there would be just over $500. This one comes out to $700. They asked for a little bit of relief. Now let me make my case. We don't just do this because we feel like it. The person that lives there called up to ask if something was wrong with their meter without having ion water. They don't have it. And that was about 10 days after this incident. So it was after that we reviewed it a little bit more extensively. I got all the numbers, I looked at all the water use and whatnot. It's been normal ever since. So, I mentioned before how the toilet's running for 10 minutes. It uses 45 gallons of water. That's my toilet. I left it wide open, I videoed when I did it, and I looked at the graph and it was 45 gallons. That comes out to about 6,000 gallons in a 24-hour period of time. So we have some meters, most of them are pretty good. We have some 3 meters up until a couple of weeks ago that were showing being in Carbondale, Pennsylvania, and not registering whatever it was. That's been rectified. So there's reason to believe that a meter can have an anomaly to it. And in this particular case, it's a couple that I believe doesn't go spraying water outside. There's nothing like that going on. So they asked us to look at it, and I don't have the numbers in front of me right now. I think we looked at it at 11,000, at a projecting what those 3 days would have used at their normal use, 150 gallons or whatever. There was like 11,880 gallons at $7.84 per 1,000 gallon that I wanted to ask the board, if you choose to do this, to give them relief on lowering their bill from $700 to 600 and something, Kelly?
Yeah, it went from $700.01 to $606.86. The difference is $93.15.
So I'm saying neither side can prove or disprove there were no leaks, that's for sure. And the meter, we have pictures and diamond maps of most of these meters when the guys hooked them up. This meter's not a straight run. It has a pipe going down, the meter, and then a 90 going up, which is not an ideal hookup. So it's plausible that there was something that happened that can't be explained. So I hope you read my emails, and this is going to be at the pleasure of the board's decision.
Would you like to make a motion that we...
I'll make a motion to grant
Adjust their
24
bill.
Kaplan Way the relief from the 700 down to the 600 and whatever it was.
$93.15.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you for the work you did on that. I mean, it's...
People are laughing at me. They're saying the guy stays home and looks at his toilet run all day long, so.
Oh, that's not why we laugh at you.
Thank you.
Well played.
Okay, staying with water. Apparently, at Highland Green Mobile Home Park, they sent out a letter blaming the town for increasing the individual billing that they received from the tenant, the landowner, the owner of Highland Green. That letter said something in the 60-some dollars, I think he claimed that we charged them more, 600 and so. I haven't seen the letter. What was the letter?
I think it said $161.
$161. Highland Green is in District 1. District 1. People in District 1 pay for administration, they pay for the water tank, and they pay based on 10 points, except Highland Green pays only 40% or 60%?
The benefit formula calls for a 60% discount.
60% discount. So everyone in District 1 pays on 10 points. Highland Green pays on less, on 40 points. And of course, this is plus whatever the meter says they used for water. So the town hasn't charged Highland Green a nickel more than anybody else in District 1.
You want me to reply?
If you would like to. I wasn't going to push this on you, but...
Fortunately for me, I don't do water billing. However, there was a new young lady in the office, and she misconstrued what she was supposed to be putting on the water bill. She put consumption and no breakdown of any charges. So they are rectifying it, and they'll all get new bills.
Excellent, okay, good, good.
Bob, I didn't research that real deep except to say that the last total town water bill was $57,904. The one before that, 6 months, was $66,456. The one before that was $51,845, and the one before that was $50,331. So between the last two billings, there was a reduction of almost $9,000 in what they paid.
We fixed a lot of leaks.
Richie, where are we at water level wise?
We're using, I mean, what we're using?
No, what's bog looking like? I haven't heard.
Bog is down 7 feet. I was up there 2 days ago. It's still down at the bottom of the dam where the rocks are and the yellow things where you can see 4 or 5 of them. 4 of them are showing, so I don't know what capacity that means, and I don't want people to panic based on what I say. I keep track of it. I'm just saying it's down about 7 to 7.5 feet right now. It was down 8.5 feet at its lowest.
Okay, calendar changes. With the permission of the town board, I would like to close town hall the day after Christmas.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Oh, no. Do we need to make a motion?
I need a motion.
I would make that motion.
Okay.
All day.
Joe seconded, he beat you to it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This is another tough one now. I would like to cancel the December 22nd town board meeting.
Oh,
You cut me short here.
yeah, we're done with you.
A motion by,
Motion,
I make a motion.
second, all in favor? Aye. So carried, thank you. Now, I'd like to talk about this, and next, I need Justin's advice. One of our newly elected judges will not be here on January the 1st. She would like to see us do any kind of a ceremony or induction on January the 5th, which is a Monday. Is there any problem with the newly elected people not being sworn in until that date?
No, it's often bounced around a little bit as a matter of convenience to someone's schedule. So that's perfectly appropriate.
So, on January the 5th, which is a Monday, suppose we have a swearing-in ceremony at 6 o'clock? Does that cut it too tight for anybody?
6 o'clock?
Michael, 6 o'clock work for you? That's okay? I mean, I can make it 7 if you want, but 6 o'clock...
We'll go retrieve him if you don't show up, so.
Okay, so it's 6 o'clock on January the 5th. It will be a very short ceremony. We'll allow everybody to speak, and I'd appreciate the board being here, of course, not just the people that have not been elected. Okay, so January the 5th, that will not be a formal meeting, but it will be a formal meeting because we'll have 5 members of the board here. Okay, is there any general public comment on anything? Yes? What?
The 2 winter hires for the recreation.
Oh, okay, yes. Aaron would like to hire the usual people he hires in the wintertime for basketball. It would be from December until possibly March, correct?
Yeah.
20 hours a week?
No, not even.
Not even 20 hours a week. And they would be getting paid, minimum pay for this year and minimum pay for next year.
Correct.
Do I have a motion to, and the names?
Mickey Flynn and Ryan Flynn.
Do I have a motion to hire Mickey Flynn and Ryan Flynn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
So carried. Thank you, Kelly. I have his paper here somewhere, but I don't know what I did with it. Here it is, yeah. Let me make sure there's anything beyond that. I got a request from Jen Gargillo, asking for the dial-up bus on Monday, December the 5th for the holiday parade and tree lighting. That I talked to Tiffany, that if she can get somebody, it'll be okay, and if she can't get somebody, it won't be okay.
Friday, you said Monday, Friday, December 5th.
Did I say Friday or Monday? Okay. Yeah, it says right here, Monday, December the 5th.
So that would be wrong.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying it should be on Friday?
Correct.
December 5th is
December
Friday.
5th, right.
Okay, well.
That is correct.
Well, somebody better tell Jen, because she, if you see Jen, tell her that December the 5th is not Monday. Okay, so, any public comment on anything? Anybody?
So you were saying about like the, in the village with the cell tower service, their meters may work better or whatever. I would like to petition the town of Highlands to please put up a cell tower that will service all providers. Because I have T-Mobile shouldn't mean that I shouldn't get good service where I live. The reason this is important to me, my husband and my daughter both have implanted defibrillators. A few weeks ago, my husband had an issue with his, and his monitor did not tell us because we do not have enough cell tower service in our home. unacceptable to me. I don't care who likes it or who doesn't like it, but Medtronic and Annie Scott are going to take the town of Highlands to task. We need a cell tower. There should not be a reason why there's no service on 293, or when you get to the middle of the village, your phone calls drop. It's ridiculous. This is the 21st century. So I just want to ask you, I will go online and I'll put a petition on if that is what will work better for you guys, but I have to do this, okay? My family's health comes first.
I don't know what I can do about that, but I will look into it.
Thank you.
Olga? Yes? No? Nothing? I ask for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.